All right, I actually missed what happened with Booker T. I kind of saw like the little fallback of it. The people were upset that he made a comment about Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I wasn't paying. I was watching the match. I guess I wasn't paying attention to the commentating at the time, so I totally missed it. Like, what actually happened?
So it was during the Neville Luke Harper match, the Adrian Neville, because I'm still holding on to that.
Yeah, his name's
Uh,
Adrian Neville. That's not even his fucking name, but we're calling him that.
yeah. I mean, it is his name, but come on. I guess
Yeah,
it's better than Pac if you want to go watch his indie stuff.
yeah,
But Neville's known as the man that gravity forgot, and they tried to like upsell him during the. Well, we'll get into that later. But
yeah,
he's known as the man that gravity forgot, and they were talking about King of the Ring and people who have won King of the Ring, like how Steve Austin built his career on King of the Ring,
yeah.
how Bret Hart has won it more than once, and how Owen Hart became a big deal. And they like compared the two because Owen Hart was like a high flyer for his time.
Yeah.
And Booker T like just offhandedly said, Owen Hart didn't defy gravity like Neville did. And then it got like the commentary got silent for a little while.
Yeah.
And they went back to talking. And then, everybody online got all up in arms and he had to make an apology.
Well, I truly feel like he made that comment like not thinking, just in the moment on air, and just thinking that okay, well, Owen Hart didn't defy gravity like Neville did, but in the ring, not like the way that people took it.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think that's exactly what happened because they were talking about Neville's gimmick, and Owen Hart didn't do flips all over the place the way fucking Neville does, and he was just, he was trying to put Neville over, and not really paying attention to the wording.
yeah, I think he was thinking about the performer, or at the time they were wrestlers back then. He was thinking about the wrestler Owen Hart, and he wasn't thinking about how he actually died. And
Yeah,
yeah, so it's kind of a shitty situation for Booker. I mean, I know he didn't really need me to say that, but
I mean,
yeah,
to be fair, I think people understood. Well, I would like to think people understand that it was just like a bad wording, like it was a bad phrasing of words, and he wasn't like trying to be an asshole or anything.
yeah. Also, in this society, let's be honest, people are more sensitive today than they were back then. So it feels like I feel like a lot of times people are looking for things to bitch about.
I mean, on one hand, we are a more progressive society than, let's say, even when we were in high school.
Yeah,
Not to reveal our age, but however long ago that might have been.
yeah,
So it's sort of a good thing that we're like, hey, you can't just say whatever. But then at the same time, sometimes we take it too far.
yeah.
And
It's
I
really,
mean, to be fair, he did say, hey, I wasn't trying to be, crass or anything. It was just the slip of the tongue.
yeah,
So I don't know. I feel like we should cut him some slack.
yeah. And speaking of taking things too far, all right, Raw starts off with Rollins coming to the ring and celebrating his win at Extreme Rules and all. When do we stop the whole Kane and like Rollins situation? When do we just put an end to that?
Kang.
Kane, fucking shut up.
The Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror.
Kane the Conqueror.
He's gonna
Kane,
be in he's gonna be in Civil War.
really?
Yeah.
All right, moving on from that for Newton Hurt stuff. Because I wanted to start talking about Civil War and just completely forget about this Raw. But yeah, Kane comes out with Seth Rollins and they kind of go over what happened at Extreme Rules. It ends up turning into like another situation which Kane is upset with Seth Rollins and it's like when do we drop this storyline? I feel
I
like
think
Kane has fucked over Seth Rollins too many times for them to even keep him in authority. It doesn't make sense.
it's one of those, like we talked about last week, how WWE's idea of booking somebody strong is to have them beat Big Show and Kane.
Yeah,
And I think they're trying to do the same thing they did with Sandow and get us all to cheer Kane. That way, when he finally goes up against Rollins, like we all have to pretend like we give a shit.
yeah, it's not working.
No, because Kane's been around for like 30 years. And at this point, nobody gives a shit about Kane anymore.
It just feels like why don't we just move away from that storyline? I mean, it doesn't make sense. truth is, when he was supposed to lay down for Rollins and he chokeslammed Rollins instead, that should have been the end of the storyline.
Yeah, but I feel like they don't know what to do with Kane if he leaves the Authority.
Tried to say King.
No, I had to burp and I was trying to
King.
hold it in.
All right, so it starts off with that happening. Another 20-minute promo from the Authority. We get
Orton comes out, Reigns comes out.
Orton comes out and he says, he wants a rematch. Basically, he deserves a rematch. And that makes sense. And then we have Reigns come out who feels that he deserves a rematch because he beat an old man.
Yeah, who gives a shit about, how is beating the Big Show impressive?
Yeah.
Impressive enough to get a goddamn title shot.
It was like, I beat the Big Show, so now I should take on the world champion. I'm like, no, you beat the fucking Big Show. You know who else has beat the Big Show? Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. And he didn't get a long stretch with the title either.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you know who beat the Big Show by flipping a table on him? Alberto Del Rio.
God. I mean, I just don't get it, but whatever. He's back in the title picture. They didn't do anything else with him. Just took about the title picture for a little while. They put him right back in it. And he's still the same kind of
right back in the title picture.
Not truly immediately, but they're kind of like keeping him in sort of like close to it at least.
I don't even think he's close to the title picture. I think he's just an upper mid-carder right now.
Think so?
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's gonna get the belt sooner than we think.
Nah, no way. I feel like Ryback wouldn't get the title until sometime next year, if at all.
Ryback.
Yeah, isn't that what you just said? You've been saying Ryback this whole time.
I meant Reigns.
Oh, come on.
Holy shit, I fucked up.
You fucked up.
Yeah, Reigns. I mean, he's gonna be back in the title picture pretty soon.
Oh, not even pretty soon. In 3 weeks at fucking Payback.
Yeah, so we got that happening. It doesn't make sense. I feel he should have held a mid-card belt at least to give that a test, but that's just me.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. It would help to kind of build him as a bigger world beater. He's a guy that really everyone can get behind.
Yeah.
And, do a little salvage his character and shit.
Or at least after the whole Rusev and John Cena's thing's done, we can actually have Reigns to come in to beat John Cena for the belt. Probably in the open challenge.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is it would take him out of the title picture, and I feel like that's not what they want. I think they want this to be sort of a Rollins Reigns year as far as who's going for the belt. And then, Lesnar will show up and throw a wrench and everything.
Yeah. All right, so basically we get they make up a match. Well, a tag team match later on in the night, which makes no fucking sense because you got Kane, who's already questionable.
Yeah.
And he makes up this stipulation of seeing who's going to go against Rollins, and then puts himself in a tag team match with Rollins. I'm like, okay, what the fuck are you doing? Why is this even happening?
And I felt like they didn't even play up the fact that Kane is going to go in there and just sort of fuck Rollins over. It was just sort of I'm in the match as well. No reason, no real reason why.
There's all sorts of bullshit going on at the very beginning of the show. And we move on from that to an actual decent match. We get Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett.
Well, hold on. I want to say one last thing about this promo before we move on. Is there was some shitty comedy going on in this.
Yeah, it was. I was talking about it. The whole Justin Bieber thing.
Yeah, and then Orton was calling Rollins. He called somebody Catwoman, and it's what the hell are you talking about? And why is that supposed to be funny to us?
I have no idea. I felt like Reigns came out and just latched on to the Justin Bieber thing.
Yeah. It was, I don't even, any of the comedy they were using. I don't know who's writing comedy backstage, but they need to stop.
Probably the same person made Reigns say, cow dung or whatever.
Say what?
He's like, you remember he told Rollins you have cow dung for brains or donkey dung for brains?
Well, I don't even remember that. That's all.
Yeah, he came out. Maybe it was like suffer and Succotash son.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I do remember that.
you have cow dung for brains, and then like fucking Rollins just like start talking over him like this shit's dumb. Just moved on. Just moved the whole promo along. But anyway, the same people writing that kind of dialogue, they wrote this basically.
So Vince is backstage like cow dung.
Yeah, call him Catwoman. They'll like that.
The kid's like Batman still, right?
Yeah, right.
I read Detective Comics 32 yesterday.
Every time I do my Vince McMahon voice, I have to say I'm not out of touch.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not out of touch.
Have some fun, damn it. That's my favorite new Vince McMahon line. When he was in England and had to tell them to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean they were having fun until he showed up and fucking ruined everything.
Oh, they weren't having any fun. For the same reason we're not having fun watching Raw these days. Just shitty writing. And they were like, this is what we get. England gets fucking Raw like once a year, and this is the show you put on for us?
Well, for I remember, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, it wasn't as good, but it wasn't as bad until fucking like he came out and started actually insulting the crowd.
Which I would have had super fun. Like that's the point when I would have had fun because I would have been trolling the shit out of WWE.
All right, let's move on for this promo. Basically, it sets up for a tag team match that we didn't ask for at the end of the show.
And it's also our first hint as to how they want us to vote.
Yeah.
You know, when they're doing the app thing.
Yeah, because at first it's like either Orton or Reigns. Then later on it becomes Orton or Reigns or Orton and Reigns. Like Orton and Reigns is not going to win and shit.
Yeah, and then during one of the mini backstage promos, we got Rollins like, I don't anything but a 3-way. Oh, that's the worst. Please don't put me in a 3.
I was laughing my ass off.
And it's like, we get it. We get that you want Reigns to be in the fucking title picture, all right? Someone's going to vote that.
If you look at the actual like poll, Reigns beat Orton in like votes. But of course, like, you know, Orton and Reigns won.
I mean, the truth is, if I was going to choose one of those, it would be Orton and Reigns. Because I don't want to see Rollins Orton again. I really don't want to see Rollins Reigns at this moment. So I guess the 3-way is the only way I might get any enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
You know, at least it would be interesting. But yeah,
of course, we all know that, like, you know, Rollins is still walking out with the belt.
He's got to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least the 3-way, somebody's going to take a fall. And if Randy Orton spends the next 3 weeks looking super strong, we know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Or unless they set up fucking Kane. And it's like, oh, Kane finally turned on Rollins, and that's going to be his feud going into the next pay-per-view.
Which no one wants to see.
Nope. I actually want to see that less than I want to see Reigns in the title picture.
WWE creative team.
You're killing us here.
All right, let's move on. All right, Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett. There was actually a good match. Man, it was a hell of a match, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good, but I think it ended up ending. Well, it ended with Sheamus getting involved with it. And I feel like it was a good match that ended predictable. And that's fine.
I'll be honest with you. There was only one match on this entire show that I somewhat enjoyed. And everything else felt kind of like just weird. Like I felt like they were rushed, like they had no time for anything, and I don't know.
Like the first match was pretty good, and then he had like Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus later on was pretty good, and then everybody else is kind of like either filler or kind of rushed.
It's like I thought they were fine. Like this Ziggler match, I thought was fine. I don't know. It was nothing to write home about. And I don't know if it was a time constraint or I definitely didn't want it to end with a fuck finish of, you know, Ziggler's distracted.
I mean, the finish was pretty bad, but it was predictable. And it's basically, you know, it's not bad writing or anything. I mean, of course, Sheamus would come out and fuck with him.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. So, like, I actually liked the match, but I felt like it ended predictable, but that's fine. It's something you couldn't really avoid. And of course, that's set up for later on for him to run in and mess with Sheamus during Dean Ambrose and Sheamus, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was a fine match. I felt like the only reason I was into any of the King of the Ring matches was because it was like King of the Ring qualifiers.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Like, I felt like it should have more of a prestige, or it should have been less Ryback, Bo Dallas moments and more like time spent on King of the Ring.
Yeah.
That way it felt like a bigger deal when the person who wins finally wins.
Remember King of the Ring was a big deal? Pepperidge
Yeah.
Farms, remember?
Back when it had its own pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And guys would wrestle like 2-3 times in a night.
Yeah. But it wasn't on a fucking Tuesday.
Yeah. It wasn't this Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah. Just a 1 hour show.
I mean, it did, like, when somebody won King of the Ring because you spent so much time with them in that day, it did feel like a big deal when they won.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, like Steve Austin became kind of more of a big deal after King of the Ring. That's when we got his Austin 316 says, "I just whip your ass."
Yeah.
And he looked super strong coming out of it. That led to him and Brett at Mania, where Austin's all cut up in his face and he's got blood everywhere.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too. He didn't wear any of like the robes or the crown or any of that shit.
No, like he even walked to the throne and like shoved people away who were trying to give him stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, "I was already the ringmaster, goddammit. I don't need anything else."
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. Oh, Booker T embraced the fuck out of it.
Oh man, he was him and Macho Man were the best King gimmicks ever.
Yeah, Macho King and King Booker.
I fucking loved King Booker.
What about Owen Hart?
I felt like he didn't really need it, but I liked King Owen Hart as well, because like even when he won the Slammies, remember when he was 2-time Slammy Award winner? Like
he had the Slammies on his trunks.
Yeah, he would walk to the ring with him. Like he could get. Owen was just able to get heat from anything.
Yeah.
Like he was the best at getting heat. And he didn't need King of the Ring to fucking, make it any worse, but it definitely helped.
Yeah.
He didn't need King of the Ring to kick Brett's leg out of his leg.
I remember hearing stories about Bret Hart and Owen Hart. Of course, they're brothers. They're in real life. They were friends, obviously. They got along. And they were at to heal it up in public. You ever heard about that?
Yeah, I think you've told me about it before.
Like they'll actually they'll go somewhere and then people will see them and they'll like either fight or they'll be like, "Look, I gotta get along with his family."
Yeah, I think I read or heard a story in a shoot interview that they were like just doing something, like out in public at a city they were wrestling at.
Yeah.
And some fans like came. I think they were like messing with their hotels. Like, how fans will stake out hotels.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here. Go on." Like they started arguing. And Owen ended it with, "I'll see you at Mom's later." Just ruining what they were trying to do, what Brett was trying to do.
I heard Owen would do like the worst stuff, like put anchovies under his arm.
Oh, yeah.
And go out
stick you in a headlock.
I heard that. I've also heard that he'll go out and just like for Stone Cold, I heard this. He would tell you that he's gonna have the worst match ever and go out and just put on the worst match ever with you. Like
I think it was Stone Cold who told this story as well, that it was Owen and somebody, and Owen was taking cups of beer and water bottles from the crowd and hitting them with it, and like the guy had to sell it because it's wrestling.
Yeah.
And he would just do like the softest punches and hitting them with like cups of water. And he's like, "Fuck, I have to make the cup of water look strong. This is terrible." Oh man, why isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
Why is he in the Hall of Fame? What the fuck?
I don't know. That's fucked up.
You think it's fear of like, bringing it up? Oh my God. You know what? To be honest, I'm jumping off subject. Because something popped in my head. Well, I finished what I was saying at first. I'm gonna say maybe it's because they don't want to have to actually talk about how he died, basically.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why.
Yeah, but I was gonna bring up when Sting first came to WWE, I was thinking to myself, don't fucking trust it to load you down from the Raptors. They don't have the best track record with that.
The last time it worked was Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and that was like 20 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah, like don't fucking trust him to lower you down. It's just not the best track record.
But yeah,
I wanted to present it to him. They were like, you know what? Let's do it old WCW style. We'll have you do a run in, but instead of running in, you get lowered down. He was like, nope, fuck that.
No.
I'll just walk to the ring, just solder it over to the ring.
Man, you remember when WCW did an angle of Sting being lowered from the rafters, and he just like plummeted straight down like through the ring?
Yeah.
I wonder if that was around the Owen Hart thing. Oh man, that'd be fucked up if it was.
I think it was before that. Also, they did another one like that where they lower it down and like he doesn't really fall down, but it was afterwards. But he kind of leans against the ropes like it's a dummy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's Sting in the Sting mask, which he's done a lot. If you really look at his career, Sting has worn a Sting mask to hide himself plenty of times.
I would love it if they lowered Sting down, but they didn't lower him all the way, so he's kind of just hanging there like a piñata, and they start hitting his ass with baseball bats.
Oh, God.
Or he's kind of like dangling. Like, you remember when Storm and the Black Panther were married?
Yeah.
And she would like carry him as she flew, and he would just kind of like go limp like, I hate this shit.
Yeah, he did. He hated it so much.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like, he hated that shit so much.
He's like, I'm a king, goddammit. I can walk. I've got fucking a flying hover city. I think I can invent something.
Same thing with Batman. He hates it when Superman does that.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to get back to wrestling.
And we were just having fun, too. All right. Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett. I actually enjoyed it. It ended, with Sheamus getting involved. And you don't force another man to kiss your ass and not come out there and brag about it. So I knew it was going to happen. Sheamus was going to run in and do something. It caused Ziggler to match.
I was hearing another podcast, and they were saying that they didn't like the idea of Sheamus getting out of kissing Nass because it like makes the stipulation pointless.
Yeah.
And then like, why would you ever have another stipulation match ever again if they're just not going to do it?
Basically, that's how I feel about the kiss my ass or kiss my arse match. Going back to Vince McMahon, no one ever kisses any body part, ass, foot, or whatever the fuck you're supposed to kiss. No one ever does it on their own free will. They either have to be forced to do it, or the heel just doesn't do it at all.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess to be fair, Ziggler didn't really kiss his ass. He kind of had his, like, forehead shoved onto his, like, hip.
Yeah.
So he got to save some dignity.
That was the only thing that Ziggler couldn't sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like too far, man. Too far.
And it's like, if you want to talk about Reigns getting the quote-unquote girly pop, like when Ziggler was doing the, like, I'm undoing this string here. And everybody was like, woo!
Yeah, he got showed a little bit of cheek. You remind me of Shawn Michaels.
Well, Shawn would have just showed his whole ass.
Well, at one point, he used to, like, be modest with it a little.
Before
he just started mooning.
He's like, you know what? I'm thinking about going Christian, so I'm not even going to crotch chop anymore. I'm going to kind of like belly button chop.
I wonder if every time they show that video of him basically blowing up the imaginary cock,
sucking an invisible dick.
He's like, God, what was I doing back in like the fucking 90s?
Maybe he was watching like the DX DVDs and was just like, holy shit, I got to change my ways.
Maybe, because like every time I talk about the Attitude Era, they always have to show that clip. I don't know if you've seen like any of the WWE Network stuff.
No.
But every time they have like something really special about it, talking about either DX or the Attitude Era in general, at like the very beginning of it, how the team's getting a little bit more raunchy, they have to show that clip. They always do.
And him sucking the invisible dick?
Yeah. They always show it. There's no way around that. That was like more
sad,
of I'll say that was more of a creative decision he made that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life.
it's like, have you ever listened to music that you liked in high school and were like, man, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, all the time.
And it's like, now, you know, we don't have to listen to that. We don't have to tell anybody we meet that we listen to that music. Shawn Michaels has to live with sucking an invisible dick for the rest of his life.
Yeah. It's always going to be promoted on the WWE Network. They made gifts of it. There's no escaping it.
That sucks. I mean, other than yeah. Oh shit, we got to get back to this card. we got to get back to wrestling.
All right, fuck it. Big E versus Tyson Kidd. Now the match they had at Extreme Rules, you know, with New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd was fucking crazy. That was an amazing tag team match. This match, not so much.
Like early on in that tag team at Extreme, or that tag match at Extreme Rules, I was like, man, I'm really loving this tag team match.
Yeah.
And like, I get what they were doing here. They were just kind of furthering the feud. They cheated to win, so we got more heel tactics. I like them coming out and doing the, you know what, we got a new chant for you. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Like, they're smart about getting heat without going the like Bo Dallas route of like, you know, your city. I'm not from around here. I do things differently than you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the match, not great. Also, it's like a case of some of the other stuff on here. It felt like it had no time.
Yeah, so it basically wrapped up really fast, but they did cheat to win, so they got a little bit of heel heat for that. But yeah, it was. I mean, and think about it, it wasn't really a bad match. Like given time, it could have been a really good match.
And you know what? I feel like Big E still should have won. Like, they could have had a match because Tyson's the like high flyer of the two of his group, and Big E's like the muscle of his group.
Yeah.
So you could have had that weird dynamic, and then next week have Cesaro and Kofi or Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Go, and then they could switch roles, and then eventually the week after they could have the two big guys. You know, you can keep building up to the main match, but man, you got to give these guys time, and they just did not do that.
They didn't, and I guess like New Day's doing the Freebird rules for tag teams for the tag team championships, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking the New Day, the new Day, the newer day.
The new Day, I guess, because like the original New Day was pretty awesome, but that didn't happen. So I guess this is the best they could do with the gimmick they were given.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, since we've started this podcast again, I've been like talking about how much I want Big E to matter.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, you know, this title run helps bring the tag matches like back to actually being on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And, you know, B, it helps the like guys involved, everyone involved get over.
Yeah. Also, they have a little, like they say stuff before they come out now, like for the intro, and then they have fireworks. So I guess like, you know, they're pushing him, like officially pushing him.
Yeah, or them, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so we're moving on because that match was last year. It was like small. It was a short match. It didn't really last long. And then we moved on to another match that didn't really last long.
Yeah, I felt like we talked about it longer than it was actually on TV.
Yeah, so we got Ryback versus Bo Dallas, and I don't know. Bo just comes out and loses all the time.
Yeah, and that sucks because I like Bo's character of kind of a smarmy, I think I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
But it's like Fandango's been in the company forever. Well, not forever. He's been in the company for a couple of years, and they've barely tried to figure out what to do with him. And I feel like they're just like, it's going to be another 2 years before they have an idea with Bo.
I feel like what WWE is doing is they'll give you a gimmick and tell you to just run with that gimmick. But then people are afraid to run with it. Well, the superstars are afraid to run with it because they're afraid of what would happen if they do the wrong thing.
Well, I think they're also worried about being stuck in that gimmick.
Yeah,
because Stardust got the Stardust gimmick and then just ran to the moon with it.
Yeah.
ran to the stars. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So Ryback beats Bo Dallas. And then if you didn't know any better, you would think that Bray Wyatt came to avenge his brother.
Yeah,
at the very end of it.
That's what everybody thought.
Yeah.
And
so
then the other thing I'm hearing is that, like, if Ryback was who Bray was talking about the whole time, and I think we pretty much said that that's exactly who he was talking about, like with the very first promo.
Yeah.
Like, why did he have to be cryptic about it? Ryback was there the whole time. Why didn't he just say, "Hey, Ryback, you're a douche"?
Well, I think this is what they're doing. They have Bray to go out because he's a good promo cutter. They have Bray to go out and cut these like vague ass promos until they find who he's talking about.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. They're like, who are we gonna have Bray face? We can keep him on TV by saying vague shit, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't help any of his angles though.
It doesn't because for two reasons. One reason is because it's a tired gimmick. He did it with the Undertaker, and it was cool, because at the end of the day, you didn't really know who he was talking about 100%, unless you really truly tried to pay attention. And he was throwing out some kind of hints because I knew that they may do the Undertaker, but I wasn't sure at the time. But
I mean, it was cool for what it was because he had nobody to bounce off of. Like, he had no one to really argue with other than a TV, like a monitor saying the dead man rises or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, so it was cool that he did it for the Undertaker. But it's going to get stale if every gimmick is him, like, every time he has a match, it's just him talking vaguely and then, like, wrestling someone for God knows what reason.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that hurts it. Second thing is, if he would have knew who he was working with from the beginning, he would have cut far better promos towards Ryback.
Yeah, he actually would have brought up shit that Ryback does. And, I mean, let's say that Bray beat The Undertaker this year at Mania.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm the new face of fear. And he does go up against Ryback. Ryback's over, whether or not, whatever you think about his wrestling skills.
Yeah.
Ryback has nothing to be afraid of as far as his competition because he goes through them so fast.
Yeah.
It would give Bray Wyatt an excuse to be like, oh, you're scared of nobody? I'm the new face of fear. I'm going to teach you to be afraid of someone.
Yeah, it could have talked about the fact that Ryback, his chant, feed me more. Could have said something about you have an insatiable hunger that can't be filled. This stuff he could like do, like the promos he could do to address, Ryback in a better manner than like fucking I'm just being vague as fuck until like to give me somebody to fight.
I mean, shit, like Bray last year was called the Eater of Worlds.
Yeah.
I don't need to write this shit for you. Like Eater of Worlds versus Feed Me More guy. Or what some people on the internet is calling the Big Baby Ryback.
I like Big Hungry.
Because he goes out there with his bib on and he's always like, feed me more.
Jesus! Sorry.
But yeah, people are saying that Ryback's cut up t-shirt looks like a bib. And he's like going out there talking to his mommy about wanting to be fed more. He wants his bottle.
I don't know. Like me personally, I didn't like Ryback originally. When he first got to the company, they did kind of push him pretty hard because they're
after NXT.
Yeah.
Back when his catchphrase was "Yip yip yip," what it do?
Well, they pushed him hard. In the wrong way, just like they did Reigns.
Yeah, they fed him to Cena.
Yeah, then that happened. And things, I don't know, he just kind of he went downhill. He eventually found himself in the tag team and didn't go anywhere. And I feel like now he's over better he's ever been. And the thing about him is he actually is a pretty decent wrestler in the ring, or at least he's pretty decent with power moves.
Yeah.
But he's not given the time to actually, do much anymore.
I mean, I think Ryback is where Reigns should be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, he should be a strong guy who's over with the crowd. And like I said, no matter what I think about Ryback, he's fucking over.
Yeah.
And, they should have somebody to put him with. Like his Harper match when he went up against Luke Harper, and Harper was able to kind of fucking toss him around like he didn't weigh shit.
Yeah.
having him go up against another guy who's like equally strong, and fucking Ryback, can eventually just defeat him or dominate him, would make him look even stronger.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to Ryback can have good matches, or at least decent matches. He's put with the right people, but he's just squashing everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, and he gets the comparison a lot, but the like Goldberg effect. Like, as long as Goldberg was just beating nobodies, he was the biggest guy in the world. But as soon as he went up against the guy who never loses, your Hogan or Cena,
Yeah.
then he just kind of lost momentum, and then he had to slowly get it back.
Well, he beat Hogan. It wasn't until he went against Kevin Nash, who was booking the show at the time, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, but after that, it was like nobody gave a shit about him, and he was still kind of over, but people weren't like, they didn't want to get behind him, and then he turned heel, which didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Ryback can do so much. He's like potential that's wasted right now, really. I mean, not 100% wasted, but they can do so much with him that they're just not doing.
I feel like because Ryback is one of their like only over good guys, one of the only faces that's over big with the crowd, this is their way of getting a heel to be a big deal.
Yeah.
If you put the most over face against like a heel who like manages to cheat to win or fucking looks dominant against them, it only makes the heel look better.
Yeah.
And Bray needs to look good after the shitty year and a half he's had.
Yeah.
But what's weird about that is, like, are they actually going to let Bray go over?
Probably not.
Yeah, and that just hurts him even more.
I feel like Ryback does need a mid-card title at least.
Yeah, I mean, give him a short run with something and let people get more invested in his matches other than he's going to come out and squash people.
I feel like Ryback can be built big enough where if Bray beats him, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like I said, because of Bray's shitty year, I feel like nobody even expects Bray Wyatt to do anything.
Yeah.
And, that doesn't help either guy. If Ryback just steamrolls him, then it's like, well, he has no real competition, so why should we give a fuck?
I don't know. Well, they ended with Bray Wyatt interrupting the match. Bo Dallas got squashed. And then move on to John Cena. He comes out and Heath Slater challenges him, never makes it to the ring.
Yeah.
And we get some more bullshit. Basically, just a bunch of promos.
Yeah, we get Lana being over. They're gonna have an I Quit match.
Yeah.
America bad,
Russia good, because clearly, challenge the guy whose model is never give up to an I Quit match means you're gonna fucking win it.
My God, that's. I'm trying to think of somebody who has the same kind of deal, but like I don't even know who it'd be. Like I would say that's like challenging Mick Foley to Hell in a Cell, but Triple H made like damn sure that he'd let everybody know he could beat Mick Foley in Hell in a Cell whenever he wanted.
Yeah, Triple H made damn sure he let everybody know he could beat WCW whenever he wanted.
And hopefully he finally put the period on the end of that sentence when he beat Sting.
Oh man, that was such a sad thing. It served no one but Triple H.
Yeah. I'm sure fucking Vince was backstage like, I told you, WCW. Money, money, money. Oh, no, wait, that's fucking $1 Million Man. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of.
The fuck is that in the background? Is that Yonda?
Yeah. No, it's a goddamn dog. It's another episode ruined by a damn dog. But it's kind of a lucky thing that Lana's over with the crowd so that they can do this, like, oh, you got to go to the back. Cheap heat, cheap heat.
Yeah, like, get out of here. No place for a woman.
Get on out of here.
I'm good now. Get.
Like, this Cena Rusev thing, I see going one of two ways. Either Lana cost him the match and, Rusev says, I quit. Or Rusev, which I think is more of a likely thing to happen, is Rusev like grabs Lana and threatens to do some shit to her, like I don't know, put her in the Accolade, and then Cena has to say "I quit" just to like save her.
Whoa. That's too fucking good. You gotta lower your expectations, sir.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What's really gonna happen? LOL, Cena.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as I heard the match, that's immediately would jump to mind. Is that because they want to turn Lana face or have her be cheered more? I feel like she needs to get away from Rusev, and the easiest way to do it is to have the I Quit match happen and him threaten her. And Cena doesn't say I quit because he's beaten down, because Cena never gives up, but he does it to save somebody else. So Cena's strong, Rusev looks like a villain, Lana's a good guy.
That makes entirely too much fucking sense for them to come up with it. That's how I know it's not gonna happen.
Because it makes too much sense. It's too much like right, as they used to say.
I'm pretty sure Cena's gonna win it by making Rusev tap. Lana's gonna stay with Rusev, and basically your whole idea, which was brilliant, would just not happen.
Yeah. Rusev's gonna say I quit. Rusev's gonna say it in Russian. And people are going to be like, I don't know what he's saying. And then Lana's going to go, he quits. He said, I quit.
Yeah.
And then toss him the match. But yeah, man, Rusev, as soon as he loses Lana and he loses the Cena again, he is fucking done.
Yeah, he is.
It's like the problem with building him up for Cena and the problem with building everybody up for Cena is that after that, they seem to have no idea what to do with them.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like basically they build these people up, Cena beats them, and they just say fuck them.
Yeah, they're like, well, we need somebody for Cena to go against. Ryback, Wyatt, Rusev. Then when they finally do wrestle and they have kind of a bit of a back and forth and Cena ultimately wins, they're just like, well, I mean, the heel looks strong because he went up against Cena, right? So he's fine.
Let me ask you this. This is like actually off the subject, but actually still deals with the subject.
All right. So it's sort of on subject then?
Sort of, yeah. When Hogan went over to WCW,
yeah.
I know you're like, what the fuck does that to do with Cena? But when Hogan went over to WCW, you know, eventually after like leaving for a while to like film Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah.
We was on that. We was at WCW for a while. Well, he was there for like what 2 years before like the whole NWO thing happened.
Yeah, just about.
He was starting to get a couple of boos in the crowd, and they decided
he was getting booed pretty early too.
Yeah, so they decided like to go. They eventually turned him heel because NWO they needed another person to be in the group. Was originally supposed to be Sting, but they changed their mind last moment.
Well, it was like, not to stretch this story out any longer, but Sting was still like willing to turn because everyone knows Hogan had creative control.
Yeah.
Like if Hogan came out there and started like, oh, I'm going over, brother. Sting was still in the match to turn and try to be like, hey, I'm the NWO guy.
Yeah.
But go on.
All right, so they turned Hogan heel, and he became a huge fucking heel, and it lasted for a long, long period of time.
Yep, till the company closed.
Yeah, well, he turned back to the red and yellow eventually.
Yeah, but he was still like healing it up. At least it felt like he was.
Yeah. So my question is this: if Hogan never would have left WWE, and it was over the steroid situation, right? I think he left. He's got thrown on.
It's one of the reasons, yeah.
Yeah, he got thrown on the bus by Vince McMahon.
Well, no, because Hogan did go on trial and say, like, Vince McMahon never forced me to do this. And
yeah, but I remember Vince was trying to distance himself from Hogan. It was kind of a fucked up situation. That's not even what we're talking about. The whole deal is this. If Hogan never would have left and would have stayed with the company and started getting, like, boos and mixed reactions, would he have ended up in Cena's situation?
I don't think so.
You think WWE would have turned him heel?
I don't know. I think he would have ended up like, because even until he left like he won WrestleMania out of nowhere, and he had to, like, when he was like, I'm leaving the company, he was like, I still have to lose by shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I felt like Vince depended on him so much that we would have ended up having, like, the Attitude Era probably never would have happened. It might have driven the company like lower than they were during the New Generation.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we might be here talking about Nitro instead of Raw.
I personally would think that WWE still. I think WWE wouldn't have went out of business. I think WWE would have won regardless. I basically think because the structure of WCW and the amount of money they were hemorrhaging. That's a totally different story.
Let's say the idea is that Hogan never left. Maybe Nash and Hall never would have left too.
Yeah.
Because like Nash didn't have the belt until Hogan was gone. He was supposed to be the new Hogan. He's got big, damn it.
Yeah. They tried it with Luger, it didn't work out, so.
And then we know Luger left for WCW because he was like, fuck this.
Yeah. He got a title shot like the next Nitro. The second Nitro, he had a title shot.
Yeah.
But that's totally different story.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't think WWE, WWF at the time would have went out of business. I don't think they would be the powerhouse they are today.
No, I don't think so. I think they would have like struggled until like WCW probably fizzled out from all the backstage politics that were happening.
I mean, but if Hogan never came, because Hogan was the first person to have
actually, you're right.
Creative control.
Now I think about it, Hogan never would have went. Things would have went differently. Yeah, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash coming in, they were running their own stuff, having creative control as well. Yeah, who knows what would happen with WCW?
And the only reason they got to have creative control and like contracts of every time somebody gets money, we get money, is because of Hogan and Hogan's deal and all that.
Yeah, so who knows what would have happened? Also, they were actually putting on a better show at the time.
Yeah,
like, pre NWO and all. Their downfall was all their focus was thrown on this one gimmick.
So who knows? I mean, we could literally one day come back and do a whole episode on, what might have been.
Yeah.
But for now, we have to get back to Stardust and R-Truth, King of the Ring.
I'm actually kind of blown away that one person actually fucking like changed the tides of wrestling.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, John Cena, the whole John Cena situation, they're continuing their match. I Quit match later on down the line.
Yeah.
We get Stardust versus R-Truth. R-Truth beat Stardust.
Which was surprising. Yeah. Also surprising because R-Truth hasn't been on TV since fucking Mania.
Yeah.
So that was a real shocker because he just hadn't been around.
All right. Sometimes I blog and I started writing out what happened before it happens because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I had to delete an entire paragraph when this shit happened. I was for sure that Stardust is going to beat R-Truth. But yeah.
Like in the battle of the crazy characters, R-Truth is, I don't even know what, delusional man, I guess. Because he was like, I'm going to get rid of all the spiders if I become king.
I think he tries to be funny, and most of the time he's not, but he's still entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he is a 50-year-old man trying to, like, keep up with the kids.
Yeah, and you know what? He's funny sometimes. He does, like, entertain, the kids and all. It's for the kids, for the children.
Man, I don't know if I've said it before, but the best thing R-Truth ever did was, I don't even remember who he was wrestling. He was wrestling somebody. He was doing his What's Up gimmick.
Yeah.
And he was just like, man, fuck this. Fuck all these people. He went outside. He cheated. He grabbed a cigarette out of his fucking jeans pocket, smoked it on TV.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, what is R-Truth doing? Like, just the idea that he's like, man, fuck all this. Fuck all your rules. Was like the last time I thought R-Truth would fucking be a big deal. And then because of that, they gave him the, like, little Jimmy gimmick. And his whole, like, I'm kind of a crazy man now.
Yeah.
But for that one Raw, it was like, holy shit, I've never given more of a fuck about R-Truth in my life.
I hear he had a decent heel run.
Yeah, when it was him and The Miz.
Yeah.
If you can remember that.
No, I wasn't watching at the time.
Oh, well, yeah, during that time. Shit, they even closed the pay-per-view.
Wow.
They wrestled against fucking Cena and The Rock.
Holy shit. All right. I wasn't watching wrestling at all at that time.
I got to find the video of him smoking the cigarette for you then.
I think I quit in 2006.
You lost an I Quit match?
Yeah, I lost I Quit match. Never give up, but then I saw the writing and I was like, I give up. Totally give up.
Loser leaves, I guess, leaves the channel match.
It was like around the time Mae Young gave birth to a hand. I was like, I just can't. This is just going downhill now.
I'm trying to be an adult. I own a car now. I can't be watching this shit.
It was around the time that I felt like people, they're like, so you watch wrestling? I'm like, no.
No. And then somebody's like, Stone Cold, right? You're like, yeah.
Yeah. I think Stone Cold was retired at this time, wasn't he?
Probably, yeah, around 2006.
Yeah, so that's around the time I stopped until not that long ago I started watching it again. So I missed a lot. And I don't care to go back and try to catch up.
I don't blame you.
I feel like some stuff from the past I just don't want to deal with. Now I do want to actually go back and watch Daniel Bryan doing his heel run. That looks fun when Daniel Bryan was a heel.
It was at first because he would talk about you're he would do the usual, you're all fat and lazy. But he would get heat by saying stuff like, I was having a granola, I was eating some granola backstage, and I thought I'd come out here and tell you all about the nature walk I went on. And people were like, boo, have a hamburger, you bastard.
All right. Actually, we even touched on Stardust versus R-Truth.
What can we say? Did. It was kind of a shock. It was not great. It was whatever. It was fine. Nothing was bad about it. The R-Truth hitting the lie detector off of that springboard looked weird, and I'd blame it on the camera angle.
Yeah.
It was sort of what the hell was that? But, whatever.
Yeah. All right, so that happened. And then Fandango went against Adam Rose, and it was like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah, the battle of the dancing guys.
Yeah, and Rosa Mendez could not give a fuck who she's with.
Man, watching this, it made me say probably the most controversial thing I'll ever say on this show.
Oh my God. Let's do it.
I hope people watching find Rosaminda attractive because I cannot stand her. I don't want to see her wrestle. I don't think she cuts a good promo. And I feel like the only reason she's on TV is because people are like, oh, that's an attractive woman.
Yeah.
And it's I'm sorry, hashtag give divas a chance, but I just can't do it.
All right, to be honest, I watch Total Divas every once in a while. I actually quit watching it, really, to be honest.
Did you? I
think the last 4 episodes that I didn't watch them, they accumulated on DVR. I was like, fuck it, delete.
Did your significant other have anything to say about that? Or was she also like, man, fuck this?
No, all right, here's the thing. She got me into watching it. I actually kind of try to get her to watch it because I want her to watch wrestling. And now she actually fully watches wrestling with me, as you know.
Yeah.
We do claps all the time. Happy birthday. Dinner's ready. Just whatever, right? So, so we're really into it. And I guess after a while, she was like, fuck this show.
She's like, I like wrestling, not this horse shit.
Yeah, I'm like, but babe, fucking Alicia Fox she can't get over Bad News Barrett dumping her and stuff.
But Daniel Bryan pulls out.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan pulls out, and what if Brie gets pregnant, and then fucking the Bellas? No, I didn't care. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care about the Bellas.
They're fucking millionaires. You know what's gonna happen if she gets pregnant? They're gonna have a nice life raising a child.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, so I was watching this show after a while. I was like, what, fuck this show. But anyway, I bring this up because Rosa Mendez is on the show, and she's probably one of the worst parts about it.
Jeez.
Because she's always I guess like the parts I saw with her on the show, she's always sexual. Like she did have one moment where she kisses Paige. And it's such an awkward ass fucking kiss.
Yeah.
And it's like Paige is like, "What are you doing? This is weird."
I mean, it's almost like attitude era shit. Like, oh, we have to have somebody talking about, having their top pulled down, or we got to have some lesbian pollen sprinkled around.
Yeah, it was just such a weird moment, for that to happen. And all the stuff she does on the show is just very. She's like the person that I don't know. I can't believe a person like this really exists.
I mean, I'm sure somebody like that does, but I feel like the show plays it up to maybe a ludicrous extent.
Yeah, ludicrous.
Yeah. Plays it up to a beer and chicken extent.
Yeah, holds their area codes.
Oh man, I know this is also off subject, but did you watch the Justin Bieber roast?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
And they were like, you might recognize Ludacris from your mom's Now That's What I Call Music CD.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh man, that was fucking hilarious. But yeah, I don't want to disparage any like women wrestlers.
Just be fucking good in the ring. That's all we ask for.
But it's just like, man, Rosa Mendez, she's not doing it for me on promos. She doesn't, wrestle great in the ring. And I'm not quite sure what she's there to do.
Well, there was a point in which like it was the women's championship and they actually wrestled for it. And I think the last good champion they had was like Trish Stratus. After she left. And everyone started like doing other stuff, like dating George Clooney, and and Tori Wilson. She ended up marrying Billy Kimmon.
Yeah, they lived here in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I have to go spy on them.
Well, I think they're divorced now. I don't even know if she still lives here anymore. They used to have like a store and shit. So you could just go in there and see them. Yeah. I don't think so. But then again, what the hell do I know? Like, that hasn't been a thing since like forever.
Yeah. But anyway, so like ever since then, it's been like more of like the divas and like we don't really need you to wrestle. Just need you to go out there and just do some shit to waste time.
I mean, to be fair, they have had some good like people that I've caught, going back because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
They had like Mickie James and what's her name, Tara.
Which all eventually left and went to TNA where they actually could wrestle and shit.
Yeah, Gail Kim. So didn't get to do shit until she went to TNA. It's like they had talent. I felt like they were just, they were having the same problem they had up until like the Give Divas a Chance thing.
Yeah, it just felt like they kind of like put very little into their divas or women. And it reached a point in which they got caught with their pants down. Someone called them out on it. They're like, well, shit, we need to do something now. Well, fuck, all our talent's not ready because we didn't really bother to train them or put much into them.
In this day and age, we can't do our old booking anymore. That's like the idea that somebody on Reddit put that as far as the women is concerned, and this will play into our next match.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there are no heels or faces in the women's division because, women just kind of have mood swings and they do whatever. And apparently somebody who was on the writing staff was told that, like, don't bother making heel and face characters because, they just do whatever.
Yeah, which comes into like what we were talking about. Oh, actually, let's mention Adam Rose won that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one cared.
Due to Rosa Mendez interference.
Yeah. So so anyway, Naomi versus Brie Bella, and who gives a shit, right?
Man, like I wanted Naomi to get a new song and get new attire. Like what happened to her whole black outfit instead of this like plaid shit she was wearing?
Well, I just don't know. I mean, the thing about Naomi, like you said, there's no good or bad, or there's no heel or face. It clearly shows with this because they turned there are only few, babyface divas into a heel, and they threw her in a match with heels and expect us to care.
And then they did, goddamn, the fucking biplanes that were in World War I, apparently.
But yeah, so like we don't give a shit. I know I've already said this on this show, You know that it doesn't matter if if they have a heel going against a heel, and like why are they trying to like what are they doing? You know, like they had those two going against each other. It doesn't really matter because like we just don't care. Like who are we going to cheer for? Who are we going to give a shit about?
And before the match, they had an interview with Brie Bella, like tell us about Daniel Bryan, tell us if he's okay. Try to get like simpy.
Yeah.
And then Naomi shows up and she's like hits her and like nobody cares about you or your husband.
No,
and
she was like,
I'm a bad guy. Grr.
This is my person. Nobody cares about your husband. That's what she said. It all like weird. Nobody cares about your husband.
Wow, I didn't even know that. What is she, fucking like Jamaican or something? What's with that accent?
I have no idea. It's really fucked up.
I didn't even notice that. But
she's not a good heel. I mean, she's just. I feel like she's a nice person, and like she feels like she comes off as a nice person trying to play a heel.
And like her entrance and her song and the glasses, like it brings up negative comparisons to fucking the boss, Sasha Banks.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like, wow, madam, you are no Sasha Banks. I know Sasha Banks, and you are no Sasha Banks.
It's just awful. And I'm like, okay, Brie Bella did get a little cheer when she said Brie mode because I think like people like cheering stuff out.
Oh my god. This whole night, did you see the camera cut to this one lady with a Brie mode shirt like 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, that and like the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
remember that?
It was like there was only like 4 people in the crowd who gave a shit the whole night.
So only 4 people that bothered to make real true signs.
Yeah. And like this time we got Nikki yelling, "Come on, Brie!
Let's go, Brie!" You can hear it clearly.
Yeah, because nobody gave a fuck. And I don't really blame them. Like, who were we supposed to cheer? The Bellas were fucking bad guys a month ago. And Naomi's so new of a heel that we're like, well, we're not sure because at Mania you were a good guy and, you haven't really done anything heelish until like saying you don't give a shit about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, everybody gives a shit about Daniel Bryan. Everyone does.
And it's just like I don't know what to do or say. This match didn't blow me away or anything.
They could have done the same thing they've done, but left Naomi a face, and would have got a better reaction.
Yeah, people would have cared more. But it's almost like I guess the Bellas are backstage saying, "Well, who should be the new face of the fucking Total Divas or new face of the Divas? Us." That's like the Dirt Sheets put out like an interview they did where they were talking about they want to have a spinoff of Total Divas where it's just them two.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And it's like, I wonder if this is their way of going or trying to prove that, the division's all about them or something.
Yeah, they feel like they've made the show. And in a way, they have kind of.
I guess.
I mean, Eva Marie has stuff going on and, like, it's more serious. And everyone else is just kind of, they're just fucking around.
I heard that this season, wow.
The seizure? Because that's what it gives me while watching nowadays.
I heard that this season, the only person worth watching is Paige. Like, Paige actually brings, like, some life and fun to it.
That was my main reason for actually getting into it. I wanted to see Paige and Alicia Fox. And then after a while, they stopped focusing on them as much. And then it was like, okay, well, I just don't care.
All right, well, fuck you then. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I already wasn't, like, the biggest fan of Naomi just because I felt like her character got old. And I guess they heard that and was like, well, let's give her a new character. And they just put no thought into it whatsoever.
Also, I really do feel like they give people gimmicks. And they just, like just run with it. Just do whatever. And like the talent has to figure out what to do. I feel like they're just kind of thrown out there.
Yeah, but it's also like they don't okay, they give talent a gimmick and throw them out there, but they don't give them any mic time. They don't give them time to like say, "Hey, I'm this guy and this is what I'm all about." Other than like,
I'm here to say,
yeah, that I like beating up people in a major way. I said a major way. But yeah, fuck it. Let's move on.
Oh yeah, so basically that happened, and Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus. That was a pretty hard hitting match.
Yeah, I mean, other than I guess the Ziggler match, it was one of the better matches we had all night. Like, there's only so far this one and the Ziggler one where it's like worth watching, I guess.
Yeah, and the thing about Sheamus, I feel like his ring work has gotten. I don't know if it's like he's changed anything about his ring work, or he's lost weight probably.
No, he's just being a bit more aggressive now that he's a heel. Like,
Yeah,
he's doing all the same shit. Like, he hasn't really done anything new. I feel like he's just he's just being more aggressive. He's healing it up, basically.
Yeah, I do feel like he kind of slimmed down just a little. Maybe, man, I could be wrong.
I haven't noticed. But then again, when's the last time we saw him before he came back? It's been like a year or two.
I feel like he was a bigger guy than what he is now. But then, like, he just moves better in the ring. Maybe it's just him being aggressive.
Would you say he was a bigger fella?
Yeah, he's a bigger fella. Beat up all the little fellas.
But yeah, the best part of this whole match, and I think the only reason I even remember it, is because when they went to the outside and fucking Ziggler, like, fucking, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I told you it looked like somebody shot him out of a cannon.
Yeah, he just came out of nowhere.
Because I was watching, like, I didn't even think interference. And I don't know why I didn't think interference. I guess I was just, into the match. And then Ziggler just shows up out of nowhere. He would, like, flashed his way to the fucking ring. Like, he was so fucking fast.
I knew interference was going to happen because, what happened earlier in the match. Earlier in the night, I'm sorry. But, yeah, it did feel like it came out. Like, I was waiting for it. And I'm like, this match is really happening, right? It's like, it wasn't going to just be interrupted immediately. I'm like, they actually really did put on a decent match. And then Ziggler out of nowhere.
Yeah, you want to talk about out of nowhere. That was legit out of nowhere. Like, when he fucking ran in, I was like, holy shit.
So, so unfortunately, Ziggler caused Dean Ambrose the King of the Ring qualification.
Yeah.
And I wanted Ambrose to win, but that's a totally different story.
Yeah, I mean, when they put out the brackets,
yeah,
I was going Ziggler, Stardust, Ambrose, Neville.
Yeah.
But, that's practically all good guys. So it's like, that clearly can't happen. We got to have some bad guys in here.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I just wish that Ambrose would have won, but it turned out okay. So, it was a really good match. But then, of course, Ziggler, he interfered. Learned his lesson. So, like, in King of the Ring, he did do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way of keeping the feud going.
Yeah. All right, so we get Damien Sandow. He comes out and shoots a promo. And we get, Curtis Axel comes out, kind of makes a little joke about how he's trying to beat someone else.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was all right promo, and then, I don't know. I feel like Curtis Axel's just being wasted.
Yeah, I mean, but this is helping Sandow. Like, he's not looking like a chump coming out of his Miz feud. It's at least like letting the crowd know that, we weren't wasting our time getting behind this guy.
Yeah.
But it's like I was saying, like, I feel like the crowd will be on Sandow's side because he's had, mic time. He's had a moment to, like, actually connect with the fans.
Yeah.
And, when's the last time anybody else had any kind of mic time, like, to this extent?
Yeah. So, it was cool. He helped out, Sandow, but I just feel like Axel's just been wasted. And what happens when Axel walks in on Bo Dallas talking?
I don't know. Like, I get it's a draw.
What is that, right?
It's a brawl to the back before the match even starts. That way they both sort of lose.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, like,
right,
Sandow copying Axel the whole time. I was kind of hoping he would get away from that, kind of go back to the intellectual savior.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, well, we're going to have to see where Sandow goes from here.
He was mocking him. It was funny, but I feel like it went on for too long.
Yeah, it did. It felt like he was going back to his old gimmick, which he should get away from now.
Yeah.
The same gimmick he, in his promo, was talking about how, like, they forced him to do it. And it was because of the fans that he's, doesn't have to do that anymore. Yeah. So what do I do to end this, like, promo? I'm copying somebody and making fun of them.
Yeah, it was a really good good promo. I mean, it wasn't bad, but that ending it wasn't really good.
Yeah.
Also, I wish he would have just hit him with the leg drop instead of like doing the elbow then a leg drop.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he would like he's doing the whole Hogan thing. So he goes for like he bounces off the ropes, like he's going for a leg drop. And then he does like an elbow instead. And then he does like a leg drop afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Like just do the fucking leg drop off the ropes.
I feel like he should stick with the perfect flex. Like that's his thing.
No, I mean like Sandow did it to like Axel.
Oh, wow! I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was bad.
But yeah, fuck it. Let's move on to what
Yeah.
I think was the best match of the night: Neville versus Harper.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Neville needs someone he can do some new moves with. Like, I feel like the flippy shit is cool and it will get him over, but eventually he needs like a Finn or a Sami Zayn or somebody
Yeah,
that he can put on the matches he had in NXT.
Yeah, he's very limited on what he can do because not everybody can do it or like react to it well.
I mean, Harper can. Like all his time in Chikara is essentially like lucha libre style wrestling.
Yeah.
Everybody has kind of the Neville way of wrestling. So Harper's used to, like as we saw with that head scissors and that Hurricane Rana and stuff.
Yeah.
The guy can fucking move. Like you remember how we were talking about Reigns' big jump over the ropes and how it wasn't that impressive?
Yeah.
Fucking Harper went for a big boot and literally just jumped over the top rope to sell how bad he got hit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like we need to get rid of Big Show and Kane and have Luke Harper be the new, like, big guy. Because the man, he can work.
No, they're not going to get rid of Big Show and Kane.
Well, they fucking need to.
I mean, I'm like this. I want them to go away, but I know they need to work. So maybe put them in the back somewhere. I don't know who the fuck knows.
They've been with the company like 20 years, 30 years maybe. They haven't saved any money by now.
Well, when I think, I feel like it would have made Kane more relevant if while he was doing this whole authority thing, if Bray Wyatt would just kick the shit out of him, like while he was like building up to the Undertaker feud.
Yeah, but then you'd have to bring up like the Brothers of Destruction, and he would have to feud with Wyatt eventually, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. They do something with him. I feel like there's not much they could do now. They've actually did the whole flip-flop thing too many times.
Yeah, I mean, the best you could do is have Kane turn face general manager.
Think so?
I mean, it's if you want an authority figure there every week.
He's basically already doing that.
Yeah, and it would keep him off the TV. It would keep him out of the ring. It would have a reason to not have Stephanie and Triple H there every week. They got other shit to do, so they can't like literally be on TV every week.
But it makes sense what they're kind of already doing.
Go ahead.
Because they're basically already doing that. We're not there. Kane's basically running stuff.
Well, but if he turns face, which is like what I was going to say is if he does turn face and stays like general manager, like abusing his power, when Stephanie and Triple H do show up, they can like cause trouble, and it would have, it would be more of an impact of why they're on TV and why they're making matches the way they are.
I don't know. I just feel like they'll come back and basically like take power away from him. Because Triple H could come out and just basically fire Kane.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be for real, they could just fire anybody.
I mean, like how he came out and just fired Booker T for a brief moment.
Yeah,
you just do that. Just come back and fire Kane, and that's it. I mean, that's the whole thing with Kane is he doesn't want to deal with the repercussions of not listening to Rollins, and getting Triple H involved.
Well, like let's finish. Like, do you have any thoughts on Harper Neville? So we can just go right into the tag match.
It was great.
All right then. And since we're talking about Kane, and earlier how we were saying why the hell did he put himself in this match?
Yeah.
it felt like even more of a reason for people to vote, triple threat.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's not spend that much time on this. I wish we would have spent more time on Neville and Harper, but basically it was an awesome match. There's not much you can say except for it was really awesome.
Yeah,
And they can play off each other very well, and they give enough time, they can really have some good matches with each other. But this fucking tag team match we had, it wasn't awful, but it was definitely more the same.
it was so fucking boring.
Yeah. And okay, so we were already expecting something to happen with Kane and Rollins, and it did. And I'm like, okay, so we're still dealing with this. Is Kane going to turn? Is he not going to turn storyline? He's already fucking over Rollins, and he already put his hands on Rollins multiple times. I'm like, why is we need to move on for this fucking storyline.
Yeah. And like I said, because of the way they book and the way they think, beating Kane or Big Show is a way of like showing somebody super strong. Yeah. I feel like Kane just isn't going away anytime soon. And it's like I've been saying, like, I'm tired of Rollins like almost relying on the Authority to have something happen. Like it almost feels like he needs the Authority around to have an excuse to lose or to have an excuse to like beat somebody without having them like lose cleanly.
Yeah.
And if you want to have him be a dominant champ or have him be a guy worth watching when he comes out, like he needs to get away from like chicken shit finishes from like either winning or losing.
Because technically this is their first NXT guy to hold the belt, right?
Yeah.
So they got to do something with him and actually show he's dominant. And he's ready for the next level. Instead of like what they're doing. Triple H made that comment. He's saying he's looking for the next Seth Rollins. We was talking about the Tough Enough thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to make Seth Rollins really be a badass for you to make that actually make sense.
Like what's weird is coming out of Mania, everybody was losing their minds that he cashed in.
Yeah.
And won the belt. And everybody, oh man, we have a new guy. It's the first like really fresh face who's won the title in a while. Someone who hasn't been around for a while. And then after that, he comes out on TV. I think he wrestled Ambrose.
Yeah.
And then he wrestled Neville. So it's like, oh man, we're actually getting fresh matches from the champ. And then he fell right back into an Orton feud, right back into a fucking the Authority's doing this and that kind of shit.
First off, they need to get rid of the Authority.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was saying fucking if you have Kane be a guy, you wouldn't need the Authority on TV every week. It would even be an excuse to get J&J Security out of there.
I don't mind J&J Security.
I mean, as far as characters go, I don't mind them. But like I said, interfering with matches and ruining shit, I'm past that.
Yeah, I think we're at a point in which they've done like the whole Authority figure since the 90s, and they've stretched it out for this long. Yeah, it needs to go. It fucking needs to go. What they need is a dominant. They haven't had a dominant stable in a long time.
I don't even know if they need that. I feel like they just need something different.
I'm not gonna just say that I know I have all the answers and stuff because I have no idea what to do if they got rid of the Authority or got rid of the authoritative figure.
Yeah.
But I feel like they need something else and just saying a dominant stable or something like that. Or like maybe make up a stable they'll go against the Authority that they can't control.
Well, they tried that.
Well, they kind of, but they were faces.
Yeah. Think about
maybe some heels or something like that. It did. I don't know.
Okay, think about this. When Lesnar was champ, he wasn't on TV a lot, and that sucked. The belt wasn't being defended that often, which also sucked.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal to build up to facing him.
Yeah.
And I feel like what they need to do with Rollins is have it be a big deal that he's going to go against somebody.
Yeah.
Almost have it be like because he's champ, the way Lesnar was, he can dictate who he's going to go against. That they really need to impress him to fucking go against him because they spent so much time like having like, you know, bullshit people around him and having excuses for why he's winning. He doesn't come off as a very dominant champ.
He doesn't. And the thing about it is he could be easily. But you know, he's not given the chance to be.
I mean, that triple threat at the beginning of the year, everybody was like, oh man, you know, best match of the year already.
Yeah.
Best. Whenever he does wrestle, he puts on a good show. And Mania, him and fucking Orton with.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not just almost follow the Brock Lesnar thing of having him be a dominant champ? You know, you have to be the man to fucking try and even beat the man.
I feel like with Orton, I was excited for him to be a face. But after a while, I was like, I really don't want to see Orton in the title picture anymore.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's the reason I feel that way is just because I've seen Orton in the title picture for so long.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You know, face and heel Orton has gone in the title picture. And it's always we have to keep him strong. And if he loses, it has to be due to shenanigans.
Yeah.
And it takes away all the like mystery and kind of the, you know, reason we watch wrestling because we don't know the outcome.
Yeah.
And it's almost like as soon as he's like cage match, everyone's like, well, you know, we're going to get some interference in here.
Yeah, basically. All right, so what do you think about this episode? All, you know, as a whole.
Yeah. It's another one of those, like, people want to say it was super boring and it wasn't impressive, which it wasn't. But, again, it wasn't the worst. I feel like when we see the worst episode, you'll fucking know it.
Yeah.
And this wasn't that. But at the same time, it wasn't. I wouldn't tell anybody to go watch it. It didn't have a real match I can say was worth checking out on YouTube or anything.
I felt like it was actually a better show than what they've put on leading up to Extreme Rules. And
yeah,
that's not saying much.
That.
That's definitely not saying much. But I feel like they're not where they could be, but they're basically better than what they were not that long ago.
I feel like the only reason this was better than it had any right to be was because they were building up to King of the Ring. So they had a direction for everybody to go in.
Yeah, they had better planning and better booking.
You know, and it's the start of storylines going into Payback.
Yeah, it wasn't the best booking, but it was better booking they've done for a while.
I don't know.
Because it seemed like the King of the Ring matches were basically the best matches of the night.
Yeah. And the filler matches definitely felt like filler. Even like the main event.
Yeah, I feel like the whole show, if you wanted to sum it up, the King of the Ring matches were the best ones. Everything else that didn't do with the King of the Ring was just filler. It felt like it didn't really go anywhere. And the main event was basically more the same.
Yeah. Which all adds up to like a C, maybe.
Yeah.
Shit.
All right. Do you have any chance to watch King of the Ring? You're currently watching it right now?
I already finished it.
All right. What do you think?
It felt like the matches didn't have any time.
And then,
like it was like an hour show, and you know, fast forwarding through all the promos and stuff, it was maybe like 20 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm going to basically end the show anyway.
Here, go ahead.
All right, that's all the time we have today's show. You did enjoy King of the Ring real quick, right? Like you did at least enjoy some of the matches we had.
Just to like finish up, I thought it made sense for Barrett to win. It gives him something to do. Just end it.
All right, fuck it. That's it for today's show. Please check us out at sellinglikezigler.com. Please subscribe to us, and I bid you a good day.